Today we are here with my third official mock draft video for the 2020 NBA draft, and this is going to be my full first round mock draft. So this is going to be my quarantine mock. This will be the last mock draft I upload on the channel until we get the draft lottery, so we know the actual lottery draft order. Also, Woj just tweeted out a couple hours ago before I'm recording this video that the NBA is going to start to kind of get these little things together so they can maybe start the season back up. They're going to allow players to practice in gyms that the states are allowing them to, mainly Georgia because they've opened up everything. So we'll see how that goes and if we'll actually get the NBA playoffs this year. I also don't know when we're going to get the NBA draft. Is it going to be on the June 25th original date? Probably not. It might be in July, August, or maybe even September. It all depends if the NBA cancels the 2019-20 season or they allow the playoffs to still happen. So we are going to be doing the mock draft on RealGM. So this is the best mock draft simulator generator that you could probably find on the internet. I thought I would give it a shot today. I know for the NFL, the Draft Network and Pro Football Focus, they have some really cool tools for that. So if any data science majors out there want to create a mock draft website where you can kind of create your own mock draft in a good format, you'll probably do really well with some good search engines and stuff like that, because this one, it isn't great, but it's the only one you could really find. So I'm going to do the first round, and we're going to allow the simulator to perform the lottery. So let's get this started. We'll see what the draft order is going to be. So the Timberwolves get the #1 pick, Cavs at 2, Hawks at 3, Warriors at 4, Pistons 5, Knicks 6. Okay, so this is the lottery, and then it's going to be the normal rest of the draft here, as you can see. Okay, so with the #1 pick in the draft, I do have the Minnesota Timberwolves selecting Anthony Edwards. I think there could be a debate at #1 between LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards if they are on the clock. Obviously, they're not going to take a center because of Karl-Anthony Towns, but I think Anthony Edwards would be a nice fit next to D'Angelo Russell. I think when he gets NBA coaching and just better players around him, he could be a really good NBA player. I think he could be a nice two-way player in the NBA, obviously on the offensive and defensive end. He's pretty solid in transition. His three-point percentage wasn't great this year, but his form looks great, and I think maybe if he gets more designed plays for him and he's not taking 8 shots a game, maybe he would in his rookie year, but I think in an NBA system, he'll do fine, and I think he'd be a nice counterpartner in the backcourt with D'Lo, so you'd have a nice young core of D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, and Karl-Anthony Towns, and then you have guys like Josh Okogie, your top 7 pick last year, and Jarrett Culver, so you have a nice core there in Minnesota. So now, with the second pick, this is hard because the Cavs, I would probably have whoever is selecting here taking LaMelo Ball, but they just drafted 2 straight point guards in Garland and Sexton. Maybe they would do this and then have a Ball, Sexton backcourt and then trade Garland, who knows. But I'm going to have them selecting James Wiseman. Andre Drummond is probably going to opt in, so maybe he could just be groomed behind him this year. Maybe he'll opt out, who knows, but it's looking like he will opt in. And then the Cavs would have probably him for the future, along with Garland and Sexton. So I think that's a pick they would make. If they don't take Wiseman, I could see them definitely taking Deni Avdija from Maccabi Tel Aviv. So the first 2 picks so far, we have Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman. Now we have the Atlanta Hawks here, so I think that they would really want Anthony Edwards in the draft to put in the backcourt with Trae Young. But since he's off the board, I am going to have them selecting Deni Avdija, a wing from Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. Like I just said, I don't think he's a top 5 player in this draft. His free throw shooting isn't great. His 3-point percentage in the beginning of the year also wasn't great. So it's just kind of scary when you expect this guy to be a shooting wing one day in the NBA when his free throw percentage, that's usually what is an indicator if you're going to be a good shooter, and it's not very good. So it's a little wary about that pick, but I think they're going to target him to be that 2 or 3 next to Trae Young. They're not going to take a front court guy just because they have John Collins and they just traded for Clint Capella, so I definitely see them taking a wing in this draft, and I think it's going to be Anthony Edwards or Deni Avdija, and since Edwards was off the board, we have them taking Deni Avdija. So with the 4th pick here, I am going to have the Golden State Warriors selecting Onyeka Okongwu. Let me just find him. Alright, for some reason, RealGM, you know, a site that NBA teams actually use, do not have Onyeka Okongwu here, so I'm just going to select somebody that has a similar last name. Collins, Oneki. I'll just think of this guy as Onyeka Okongwu. I think the Warriors will take a center because then they can complete their starting 5 of Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Okongwu. They would probably really like Wiseman there in the first round or in their top 5. Maybe they would go LaMelo Ball, who knows, and then slide Clay to the 3, Draymond to the 4, or Wiggins to the 4, Draymond to the 5, and kind of play small ball once again. But I kind of see them taking a Wiseman or a Onyeka Okongwu in the top 5, and they'll probably be there because they're the worst team in the NBA. Alright, selecting that guy almost just crashed my computer. So just think of Killian Tilly as Onyeka Okongwu. So with the 5th pick here, I think the Pistons would also like James Wiseman in this draft, but I think they should move on from Derrick Rose and kind of tank again next year in a lot better draft, which will be 2021. They still have Sekou Doumbouya. They're going to have Christian Wood they're probably going to bring back, and they have Luke Kennard. And I think they could make this guy a 6-man. And I think if LaMelo Ball is still on the board here at pick 5, they got to take him. So they are lucky that the guys that have drafted, the Timberwolves have D'Lo, and they're probably, maybe they would take LaMelo, who knows, but the Cavs, they just took 2 point guards. Hawks have Trae Young, and the Warriors do have Steph Curry, so they're probably all not going to draft immediate point guards, so I think this LaMelo Ball could fall in the draft, and I have him going to the Pistons here at 5. The Knicks would probably love to get him, but he will be off the board, and I think the Knicks still need a playmaking point guard. It will come down to, I believe, RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony, and probably Killian Hayes, but I'm going to have them selecting Cole Anthony here. I think they really want LaMelo Ball, but they need a playmaking point guard, and I think they also want to score at that position too, and I think they're going to go with Cole Anthony. That seems like a Knicks pick there. So moving on to pick 7, the Bulls, they have a lot of options here just because they don't have like an immediate need. They have their point guard for the future, their shooting guard, their power forward, and their center at this current moment. They could look for a new small forward. Obviously, they would love Danny Avdija if he fell here all the way to 7, but the odds of that probably aren't likely. So I think they can go best player available, and I think that could be Killian Hayes on a lot of cases. So I'm going to have Killian Hayes from the German BBL go to the Bulls at pick 7, picking 7 once again. So with the 8th pick, the Charlotte Hornets, another team that has their backcourt at this moment in Graham and Rozier, but they could definitely take somebody for the future over them. And then they do have PJ Washington and Miles Bridges. So I have them taking Tyrese Maxey, a player that they could possibly play at the 1 or the 2, and they can kind of play alongside either Graham or Rozier, whoever they keep for the long term. And I have the Hornets taking him there. I'm sure they would love to get a Kungwu or Wiseman in this draft. It's just at pick 8, I don't really see any of those guys being there. So at 9, the Wizards, another team that really, they have good talent, and obviously next year with John Wall coming back, they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. They have John Wall, Bradley Beal, Rui Hashimura, Mo Wagner, Thomas Bryant. They have a lot of guys there, Troy Brown Jr. as well, but I think their defense was horrible this year. It was one of the worst in the NBA and one of the worst all time, and I think they're going to try to take a good perimeter defender in this class, and that is Isaac Okoro from Auburn. Solid perimeter defender. I don't know his offensive... His offense might be limited in the NBA. We'll see. But if he can become a 3-and-D guy, I think the Wizards would love that. Possibly they're starting small forward. Keep Hashimura at the 4. And then at the 5, they'll figure it out. And then I'm sure, like the Hornets, they would probably love to get a Kungwu or a Wiseman in this draft. Now, the Suns, I think they could try to take that point guard here. They might need that power forward. And Obi Toppin, still on the board here at the 10th pick. It's going to come down between 2 players here, Toppin and the guy I think I'm going to have them select, and that is Tyrese Halliburton. Ricky Rubio has 2 years left on his deal, and I don't know if he's the franchise point guard there just because of his age, his contract, and kind of his ceiling. It's not that high, so I think they're going to try to take a guy that can maybe outstand that ceiling and be higher and take them further than they would like to go, and they just want to make the playoffs. So I have them taking Tyrese Halliburton, who might be the best passing guard in this draft. He's up there with LaMelo Ball, and I think that they would really like their guard there. So at pick 11, the Spurs. Nobody knows what the Spurs are ever going to do. Are they going to take a foreigner? Who knows? But they do have a lot of guards in DeJounte Murray, Brent Forbes, Derek White, Lonnie Walker, so I don't really see them taking a backcourt guy. This might be DeRozan's last year in 2020-21 for the Spurs. Aldridge's days are limited here in the NBA, or years are limited. And then at center, they might need one as well, but are they going to maybe take the Washington center, Isaiah Stewart? Who knows? But I'm going to have them taking RJ Hampton here. Definitely a raw prospect. He's turning into more of a wing player than I would say a point guard at this current moment, but I think he could play the 1 or the 2 in the NBA. I know I didn't want to have them taking a guard. I just think at this pick here, I don't really see them taking anything else, because if you look at available centers, I don't know if they would take him over Isaiah Stewart. I just don't see that. Maybe at forwards, would they take Jaden McDaniels? I'm just not really sure what they would do, and I feel like that's every draft with the Spurs. They're kind of like the Patriots of the NBA. So I'm going to have them taking RJ Hampton here with the 11th pick in the NBA draft. So moving over to pick 12, I'm going to finally have Obi Toppin go off the board here to the Kings. Is Marvin Bagley a 4 or a 5 in the NBA? We don't really know yet. People think he's more of a 5. He probably thinks he's a 4. Maybe the Kings think he's a 4. They have their backcourt at this current moment with Fox and Hield. Who knows if they're going to trade Buddy Hield in the offseason. They're going to look to bring back Bogdan Bogdanovic. They have Harrison Barnes. They have Rashawn Holmes. So they don't really have any starter needs. Obviously, they would like an upgrade over Harrison Barnes or probably Bagley. And sure, they would like a better shooting guard than Hield and a center than Holmes. But I think in this draft, they're going to probably look at Obi Toppin here with this pick here at 12 if he's on the board. Maybe he'll be the franchise 4, and then they can move Bagley to the 5 or vice versa. And then maybe in year 1, he would just come off the bench behind those guys. But I think if he fell all the way to 12, he would be in the Kings' eyes here, or on their radar here. So I have Obi Toppin going to the Kings at 12. So with the 13th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Kira Lewis, point guard from Alabama, who is rising up a lot of people's draft boards as of late. He's a sophomore guard. Like I said, Alabama, he's a really good scoring guard. He's got good handles. He's good in transition. He's got good court vision. He's also a really solid defender. He's quick on that side of the ball. He's agile, and I think he could be a nice two-way guard in the NBA. The Pelicans' current point guards are Lonzo Ball and Frank Jackson. Who knows if Frank Jackson can be a serviceable backup on a good team? Maybe he could, but I think they would like to take some reassurance here. And then who knows, maybe Lonzo Ball's going to demand $20 million in free agency in 2021, and the Pelicans don't want to pay that. But they'll have Kira Lewis under contract for 4 years. So I have him going to the Pelicans here. And at 14, the Trailblazers, they need wings. Obviously, it's center. They might bring back Whiteside. We don't really know yet, but they have Nurkic there. They have their backcourt obviously figured out, but they really need that small forward position because at power forward, they do have Zach Collins, who they definitely like there. So I'm going to have them taking kind of a combo forward, but more of a stretch four in Jaden McDaniels. He's 6'10", but he's athletic as hell. He turns the ball over a lot, which is a knock on him, and his ball handling isn't very good. But with NBA coaching around him, I think he could be a good player in the NBA if he's in the right system. He would probably be more of a backup 4 than I think a starting 3 for them, but he might be the best forward for them on the board here. Actually, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to have them select Devin Vassell from Florida State, who is a 3-and-D wing. They need defensive help. They need that starting small forward. I actually like this pick a lot better from them, or for them, I should say. Not from them. I can't speak. I apologize. But yeah, I'm going to have the Trailblazers take Devin Vassell. And is this really going to crash because you cannot do these fill-in players? Wow. Someone needs to create a really good mock draft generator site. So this is the current draft summary so far if you want to check it out if you forgot any of these picks. So we're on pick 15. We are now done with the lottery here. And I have the Orlando Magic selecting Josh Green, a wing player from Arizona. He was a freshman this past year, and I really liked what I saw from him on defense at the U of A. I think he's a really good perimeter defender so far, especially at his age. I think he's going to continue to grow and develop at that specific spot. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He's a good passer, and he's not really a ball-dominant player, so I think he could be a nice maybe scorer for them off the bench and maybe develop into a starting player for them one day, and I have him going with the first pick outside the lottery. So at 16, this is the Timberwolves' second pick here in the draft, and they still need to address that power forward spot because, you know, now they have Anthony Edwards and D'Lo in the backcourt. They have Culver and Okogie maybe at that 3 position. They have Cat at the 5, obviously, but they need that power forward, and I'm going to have them selecting Jaden McDaniels from Washington. Just talked about him because I almost had him going to the Trailblazers, but now he can maybe be that stretch 4 for them, but this will lead their defense at the front court to be a little weak, so who knows what they'll do with that, but I'm going to have them taking Jaden McDaniels because I don't really know. It's just a mock draft because sometimes not all the picks do make sense. So at 17, I expect the Celtics to trade at least one of their 3 first-round picks due to just roster spots and cap implications. But for this, we are going to have them select all 3. So I'm going to have them selecting Theo Maledon here, a point guard from France. He's super young and he's super raw, kind of how like Frank Ntilikina was a couple years ago coming out of France, but I think he's going to be a solid defender right away. Nothing great, nothing spectacular, but I think he'll be a solid defender, and I think he'll be able to shoot the ball. I think he could be a nice 3 and a little bit of D point guard off the bench for the Celtics and can maybe run that offense. He'll definitely benefit from experience maybe in the G League, but we'll see if he plays any bit for the Maine Red Claws if he was drafted by the Celtics. But I'm going to have them select their backup point guard at 17 because I think they would like to maybe get an upgrade one day over Brad Wanamaker. So, and Carson Edwards and guys like that. So that is the 17th pick with the Celtics. Now at 18 here with the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to have them selecting Precious Achiuwa from Memphis. I think he's better suited as a 5, but I think he could play the 3, 4, and 5, especially on defense. I think he could be a very good defender right away in the NBA. His offense definitely needs to develop. With good skill trainers and shooting coaches, he'll definitely benefit from that in the NBA. But I have him going to the Mavericks here, and he can kind of be a Swiss Army knife on defense. Guard 3s, 4s, and 5s one day at a high level if he develops the right way. So at 19, the Nets, this pick is from the Philadelphia 76ers. The Nets are in the market for a power forward. Obviously, they have their backcourt in Kyrie and LeVert. They have Dinwiddie off the bench. They'll have KD at the 3, DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen at the 5, but they kind of need that power forward. So I'm going to have them selecting Jalen Smith, who is a power forward really out of Maryland. He's an efficient offensive player. He's a great defensive player. He's a good shot blocker. He's strong inside. He's not going to get bullied. He's a smart offensive player as well. He's a good roller in the pick and roll. He can catch the alley-oops, and I think he'd be a fun player player to play with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. So I'm going to have the Nets selecting Jalen Smith there. So now with the 20th pick in the draft, I will have the Milwaukee Bucks selecting Aaron Nesmith, who is a wing player from Vanderbilt, and he averaged 23 points a game in this past college season, around 5 rebounds a night as well. I think he could be a very good perimeter scorer for them off the bench, obviously, because they'll have Chris Middleton at the 3, Giannis at the 4, but I think he could be a good bench player for them. He's a good three-point shooter. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's an efficient scorer, and I think the Bucks would love that, but I think he might go higher in this draft. So I'm going to go to the Bucks at pick 20. So we are moving on here to pick 21 with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I do think that they need a point guard, and maybe just a backup point guard in general, and I think they would love to get Kira Lewis here at pick 21, but I just don't see him falling to them there. This pick is from the OKC Thunder, so I'm going to have them selecting Nico Mannion, a guard from Arizona. He's a good ball distributor. He's got good court vision. He's really good at seeing the open man when the defense has to switch, and he's a solid shooter as well. I don't think he's going to ever be a really good starting point guard in the NBA, but I think he could be a solid backup, and I think the Sixers might go point guard in this draft. I think they would love Kira Lewis at 21. I just don't think he falls that far in the draft, so I'm going to have them selecting Nico Mannion. So with the 22nd pick in the 2020 draft, I have the Denver Nuggets selecting Tyler Bey, a wing player from Colorado. He gets to the line. He's a good offensive player. He averaged around 14 points and 9 rebounds at Colorado this past season. He shot about 41% from 3 on a small sample size, but he got to the line about 6 times a night. He did shoot 71% from the line, but if he gets better at free throw shooting, he could be a really versatile offensive player in the NBA if he is going to get to the line 4, 5, 6 times a night, and I think he'd be a nice scorer off the bench for the Nuggets. They might not bring back Torrey Craig. They're going to need kind of that backup for Will Barton if they maybe view Michael Porter Jr. as a 4. He can also play power forward if they move on from Jeremy Grant, and Paul Millsap is getting up there in age, so I think he's going to stay in the state of Colorado. Just notice that, or yeah, stay in the state of Colorado, go to Denver, and the Nuggets will take him at 22. So with the 23rd pick in the NBA draft, I'm going to have the Miami Heat select a junior from DePaul, and that is going to be Paul Reed, who is a really good defender. He's a good shot blocker. He's a good rebounder, and I think that he could maybe use another front court member. I think he could play alongside Bam Adebayo, and they kind of need that power forward at this current moment because they are starting Myers Leonard and Bam Adebayo, but I think he could fit nice into that role, and then you would have maybe Kendrick Nunn at the 1 or Goran Dragic. You would have either Duncan Robinson or Hero at the 2, Jimmy Butler at the 3, maybe Paul Reed if he develops at the 4, and then Bam at the 5, and I think that'd be a really nice front court for the future in Reed and Bam Adebayo. Some people think Paul Reed could be a sure lottery pick, and you'll have him under contract for 4 years because the Heat don't have many first-round picks over the next couple years, so I think they really need to land this pick, and I think they should try to take a big man that they think could play alongside Bam Adebayo for the future. So we are on now to pick 24 with the Utah Jazz, who desperately need some bench depth. And I'm going to have them selecting Saddiq Bey, who is a wing player from Villanova. He is currently a sophomore as a Wildcat right now. He was a great three-point shooter for the Wildcats this past season. He averaged around 45% from 3 on about 5.5 attempts a night, and I think the Jazz could really use that type of scoring off the bench. He's an efficient scorer. He doesn't turn the ball over. He averages around 2.5 assists a night. He's a solid playmaker, and I think he could be a nice wing complementary player to Jordan Clarkson off the bench for them. His usage was really high at Nova as well, so you know that he could probably score at the sample size he was given this year. So I'm going to have the Jazz select Saddiq Bey with the 24th pick in the draft. So the Nuggets just selected with Houston's pick from that 4-team trade that went down in the middle of the year. But now the Thunder are going to be selecting the 25th pick in this draft, and that was from the Jeremy Grant trade that happened in the 2019 offseason. So I'm going to have them selecting Jahmi'us Ramsey, who's pretty much a wing player out of Texas Tech. He's 6'4", 195 right now. He'll be about 19 when he's drafted, whenever that is. But he was a really solid player for Texas Tech. Another player from Texas Tech went high last year in Jarrett Culver, and I think he's a very similar player to Culver. He shot 42% for the Red Raiders last year on about 4.5 attempts a night, and I think he could be a really good wing scorer for the Thunder, probably off the bench. I don't know if he'll ever be a starter, and they probably need a small forward because right now they do have Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder as the point guard, Shea as the shooting guard, Gallo if he stays at the power forward position, Steven Adams at the center. I think they need that small forward that had a revolving door at that position this year with Glenn Stewart, Hamidou Diallo, and a lot of different players. So I'm going to have them selecting Jahmi'us Ramsey here with the 25th pick in the draft. So we have about 5 picks remaining here. The Celtics' second pick in the draft. I'm going to have them selecting Isaiah Stewart, who is a center out of Washington. He's a really strong, not a quick center, but he's strong and he's a great rebounder. He's good at scoring inside. He's good at catching alley-oops, getting inside passes when a driver is collapsing the defense. He's a little bit undersized though at 6'9", so maybe he's going to be not a true center. And they just drafted an undersized center a couple years ago from Texas A&M in Robert Williams, but I think they desperately need to address the backup center position to back up Daniel Tice next year. Either it's going to be maybe Vernon Carey, Makir Maker, Oscar Tshiebwe. It's going to depend on who's available there, so I'm going to have them selecting Isaiah Stewart with the 26th pick in the NBA draft. Now we have the Knicks pick from the Marcus Morris trade. You know that they're definitely going to try to take a project with this pick. And I'm going to have them taking a freshman from Florida State, and that is Patrick Williams, who is a wing player, and he's a really, really good defensive player already. He's 6'8", 225. He's great at getting his hands in the passing lanes and deflecting balls. He wasn't a great three-point shooter this past season, but he was a good free throw shooter, and maybe that could translate into the NBA level. But yeah, I think he could be a hustle player off the bench that can get steals, blocks, and just run the team, be that defensive leader off the bench, and I have them going Patrick Williams here with the 27th pick in the draft. So we have about 3 picks here left. We have the Toronto Raptors, and I'm going to have them selecting Isaiah Joe, a shooting guard from Arkansas who averaged around 16 points in the 2019-20 season. This might be a little bit of a reach on Joe, depending what I've heard from just mock drafts and writers, that he might go in the second round, but he was a solid 3-point shooter for them last year. He averaged around 34% from 3, and you might be like, that's not great, but he did take 10 attempts a night. He shot 89% from the line. I think if he gets into a good role in Toronto, he takes around 5 to 6 threes a night. I think he could shoot north of 35% and be a valuable offensive player for them off the bench. With the 29th pick in the NBA draft, I'm going to have the Lakers select Trey Jones, who is a sophomore from Duke. He's a good passer. He's a good leader. He has good court vision. He has a high basketball IQ. He's never going to be a 25-point per game scorer. Probably will never average 10-plus assists a night, but I think he could be a good second unit point guard for the Lakers, because obviously they'll have LeBron at the point next year, but I think he could be a nice backup and definitely will be an upgrade over Rondo, and probably would be an upgrade over Alex Caruso. So we are on our last pick here with the Boston Celtics, and they have this pick from the Milwaukee Bucks. They got it from the Suns last year in a trade, so they could trade up and get Ty Jerome. I'm going to have them go Desmond Bane, who is a shooting guard from TCU. He shot 44% last year on 6.5 attempts a night for TCU, and he also averaged about 4 assists, 1.5 steals, and 6 rebounds for TCU. I think he could be a very nice all-around guard for the Celtics off the bench for them if they were to draft him. So yeah, that is going to be my first round mock draft for the 2020 NBA draft. I actually did like using the draft simulator, because I like that you guys can see kind of who I drafted and where they were, and kind of who went before them and after them, and you can actually see a visual of who I took. But yeah, this will be my last mock draft until the draft lottery. Let me know what you agree or disagree with in the comments section below, and like always, drop a like if you guys do enjoy these videos. When you guys hit over 1,000 likes or 1,500 likes on a non-rebuild, it means a lot to me. So yeah, that is gonna be for me. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.